Hello, welcome to Infinite Prattle, and today I'm going to talk about coffee shops. I know that sounds like a really boring subject, but I'm going to talk about a coffee shop that was very close to my heart back in the day. And if any Frasier fans are out there, I would call that place my Café Nervosa. So let's talk about that. You're listening to Infinite Prattle with your host, Stephen. Thanks for joining me for unscripted, unedited, everything. Hello, thank you very much for joining me today. Hang on, let me adjust my microphone because, I've not done this in a while, so, I've got to make this error. If you can hear some pattering in the background as well, my dog's in the room with me today because he's been a bit lonely. My wife's been away for a bit. She's away this week on holiday, and she's been previously in hospital, so he's missing her, and I think he's feeling a bit like he needs company all the time at the moment. He is a bit of a stressy dog. I'm not gonna lie. He's a bit of an anxiety dog. Not for anxiety. He has anxiety. But yeah, I think he just needs a bit of company. So he's in the background. So if you hear any pattering or pathering or anything like that, it's my dog. So don't worry. And today. Hello, by the way. Hello. If it's your first time joining, can you hear birds? Stop scratching. By the way, my dog is a cross Jack Russell Dachshund, or Jackson, as some people call them, and he's lovely. Bit needy, though, as I say, a bit needy. So if you've never listened to the show today, before today, should I say, welcome. Thank you very much for listening. And if you're a regular listener, thank you very much for that too. So as I said in the intro, I want to talk about a coffee shop that I used to go to a lot. I like coffee. I think if you're a regular listener to the show, you'll know that I enjoy a cup of coffee, as well as Pepsi Max. Not a sponsor yet. Come on, Pepsi. Come on. Just sponsor one episode for a tenner. I hold on to that dream. I'm an ever optimist, like my dog. So in the program Frasier, they used to always go into the same coffee shop, a bit like in Friends. They used to go to Central Perk. Frasier, it was Café Nervosa, and I kind of like fell into a coffee shop thing, like mid 2000s, like the early part of the 2000s, like when I was saying mid 2000, I mean like the 2000s to 2010. So it's probably when I moved into my own place. I think starting like a railway job, working on the train station and stuff. I used to get like coffees from these discounted coffees, and I started drinking lattes and stuff, which just started becoming a thing in this country. So I started drinking lattes and la di da, and when I moved out onto my own, it was lonely. Like genuinely, that's probably the reason. If I'm honest with you, I used to like go into town and mooch around, and I started going into a coffee shop called Rimini's, and that kind of became my Café Nervosa. It was I'd go there a few times a week. I probably looked like that wanker in the corner, looking like he was doing work or whatever. But I used to go in there and write song lyrics or just write my thoughts down. Chat to the people who owned it, and they're all amazing. A couple of Simon and Karen, I think they were called. Pretty sure that was the names. Yes, it was. Oh, I'm doubting myself. And the various employees that they had over the years, and they were all amazing. They were all so nice and so much fun, and I became like the regular customer, so it was kind of like I'd walk in and they knew what I'd normally order, so they knew my regular drink, which used to be a mocha, to be honest, mocha with cream. Probably really bad for me, to be honest, full of sugar, full of caffeine, full of fat, and delicious. And I used to go in and pretty much order a coffee there, like at least 3 times a week, I would say. 'Cause I'd walk to work a lot of the time. I was a bit more healthy, to be honest. I used to do a bit more exercise. I only had a motorbike when I moved into my first house in 2004. I only had a motorbike as a mode of transport, so I I would never go out without my kit on, so it was kind of more of a ball ache to go and like warm my motorbike up, get all my leathers on, and find parking, like sitting there in your gear. And if it's a warm day, just nicer to walk to work. So I used to walk to work quite a lot, and so that's what I used to do. So I walked to work and grab a coffee on the way, sometimes some lunch, and just make a bit of an event of it. And as I say, I was probably a little bit lonely, to be honest. And I used to go in there, kind of made friends with the proprietors and the coffee shop girls because they were mainly girls. There was very rarely a male employee. I don't know if that's a demographic or that's just how they employed people. But yeah, we used to go in there and it was just really nice. And yeah, as you say, I used to just watch people mainly. That sounds a little creepy, but do you know what I mean? Like you go in a coffee shop and it was nice just to be surrounded by people, not necessarily that I knew, so I didn't always have to engage in a conversation. But I was with people, um, and the more I went in there, the more friendly I got with the owners, and I think that's a bit. I think that's one of the things that's a bit soulless about like Costa and Starbucks and a lot of these other big chains like Nero and stuff. That if you're regular, you can get to know some of the people that work there. Um, but they're all about turnover. I feel and I suppose a small business wants that turnover as well. But I think they're more about making a connection with you. And I must admit, like, there's a local Costa that I go to. They have got used to my drink now. I'll go in and they'll be like, same as usual. I always change what milk I have though. Wanker like that. Sometimes I have soy milk. Sometimes I have like ordinary milk. Sometimes that's for skinny milk. Yeah. And I don't know how to call it skinny milk. I kind of hate that. But then what else do you call it? Skimmed, but skinny milk. They know what I mean. Anyway, I feel like I'm breathing a lot today. I'm very breathy. Is it coming through? I don't know. Got the de-esser on. That's my mustache on the microphone. I don't know why I did that. Sorry. It's probably triggering to some listeners. Um, Bird's being very well by the. He's being very well behaved. Oh, he's not even in here. That's why. I was gonna say, wonder why I can't hear him, but he's probably gone to lie in the bed. That's his normal default position. If I'm in my room doing stuff, he now goes and lies on our bed and goes to sleep. Normally there's no touching the pillow. I think it must be like so he can smell us. It relaxes him, which is really cute. To be fair, it's like a Bert slash coffee episode. Yeah. So coffee shops have kind of like always been a thing, and I used to go between there and a place called Muffin Break, which I don't know whether they exist anymore. They closed down in Crewe, where I'm from. And it was literally like a muffin shop. They sold cookies, and I think they sold some sandwiches and stuff. But yeah, it was a bit of a chain place, like Millie's Cookies kind of thing. And if my wife was here, she would, or if my wife was taking part in this podcast, she would mention coffee shop girls, because she thinks that I had a kind of like a thing of attracting coffee shop girls to me. She thinks that coffee shop girls find me attractive. Maybe not anymore. Like I've widened a little bit and not as young as I used to be. But she like I'd tell her stories of like going into the coffee shops and stuff. Like, oh, going to this one and blah blah, and the girls would say this, and she was like, they probably fancied you, and I'm like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. It turns out I knew that one of them did because she bumped into me years after the place closed. That was Rimini's, my Café Nervosa. And she actually admitted that she fancied me for years, and I was like, what? I was like, that's really bizarre. So Sarah's kind of right. Anyway, that's not what this is about. Like my attractiveness, but it's kind of nice to know that, though, isn't it? But I think she used to say this because you're so oblivious. You're kind of really polite and nice and engaging, and I think women find that attractive because you don't seem like you're after anything, which I wasn't because I'm oblivious. I'm terrible with women. There's a podcast going to come on that. I have to address that at some point in a podcast and basically say how rubbish I am at. Oh, hang on. Seem to have turned the echo on for a second. So that's what you get when you rest your hand on the when you rest your hand on the pads there. Yeah, never mind. Well, there you go. There's a bit of echo for you on that one. Yeah, I think with yeah, they're definitely gonna my brain's so sketchy today. I've had a few coffees, and ironic, ironically, my brain's a bit everywhere. But yeah, I think with the whole coffee shop thing, there's definitely going to be like a future podcast on my obliviousness, the way I interact with women, and the way I used to try to attract the ladies, let's say, and my failures, mainly failures, um, vast failures. But yeah, I used to love the atmosphere of Reminiscing, getting back on some sort of track. And it was only a small place, like it was in Crewe Town Centre, and it was like there was 3 rows of tables, like maybe 4 or 5 tables, like two little bay windows. There was like a comfy chairs in there, and probably like 5, 6 other tables. So it wasn't huge. Had a toilet. If you want to know that, it did have a toilet. But they did quite a range of sandwiches and toasties and stuff like that. And I like basic menus. I don't like too much stuff. And but yeah, they sold cakes and stuff. And one of my mates, who's sadly no longer with us, but Bob, ex-Royal Marine, like nearly my dad's age, he was. I think he was like a year or so younger than my dad. And me and him used to go in there all the time, um, far too much, and sit and just worlds to rights, chat about stuff, have a mooch around the town, go back probably again for another coffee. Probably spent a fortune in there, to be honest, but because we went in so often, they used to give us a little bit of a sneaky discount every so often, and that's kind of nice. You getting that like kind of that kind of I was gonna say notoriety, but that's not the right word, is it? You getting like that relationship, um, where that they appreciate you. Sometimes they'd be like, if you'd order a couple of sandwiches and you'd order 2 drinks, and then they just only charge you for the sandwiches because hello Bert, because you'd only you'd been in there for hours. Basically, we used to sit there for hours, but we'd contribute, wouldn't sit there without a drink. I was probably high as a kite on caffeine half the time. Um, yeah, it was just such a nice place to be. I got to know um the the people that were there. Got to know a bit about their lives. Just so nice. Yeah, I say I don't think you get that nowadays because like Costa and Starbucks are just so busy all the time. Like with people taking away. 'Cause I think with Rimini's it was literally sit in. They did do takeaways, but most people didn't take a takeaway. I think I only did that in like years of going there. I think I did that once or twice maybe on the way to work. Um, but yeah, these new places they're all about turnover. The kind of soulless. I do attend them. I do go to them. I'd love it if there was like more local places. That's the best thing about Northern Ireland. I find that they go in for like chains things as well. There are chain places like there are Costa, Starbucks, Nero's, all that sort of stuff. But in between on the high street, there's so many more like local businesses or local chains of businesses that you can frequent, and that's so refreshing. I feel like something we're missing in a lot of towns and cities in the UK. I mean, if you go somewhere that's like quite popular, like a bit touristy, then you get places like that. But like in Crewe, not so much, unfortunately. Um, I kind of miss that, but I do still go to Costa, and I'll take my laptop and I'll do a bit of writing. And I always used to laugh and scoff at people who used to do that and think, "Oh, like, you're just showing off and stuff." But it is kind of a nice place to go. It does relax me. I kind of like being in like other people's company in some sense, but not having to talk to them. Um, you see all walks of life, don't you? Like when I sit in the coffee shop in Rimini's, I used to just sit near one of the windows. I never used to sit in the window seat. I used to sit on one of the two seaters and just stare out the window. So if there was no one interested in that day, I would just like stare out the window. So I'd sit there with my headphones on sometimes and just write down lyrics and um yeah. And when I used to busk as well, my target for busking. You talk about dream big. This is talk about dream to the level that you want to get to. I used to busk in Crewe Town Centre and Nantwich as well. And the aim that I used to aim for was enough money to buy a coffee, which I think at the time was like £2.60, £2.50 for a mocha with cream, which is cheap if you think about how much the equivalent would be now. Probably like 4.50 or something, so it's probably double the price. Um, yeah, so, so my target would be literally just to attain enough money to go and buy a coffee. And if I could buy coffee and a sandwich, or buy coffee and a snack or a cake or something, added bonus. Um, and I used to busk outside near Rimini's, and then go in with with the spoils of busking and spend it instantly. But that's what I used to do. And I like that. I like that dynamic in my life at that time, and it's probably something that I don't miss per se. But I kind of miss the simpleness of like a local cafe like that, rather than the busyness and soullessness of like a corporate chain. I mean, I'm not saying that the people that work there are lovely. I mean, one of the Costa I go into in Crewe, I have got to know a couple of girls and they're personable and they say they remember what I like, and a couple of us, a couple of them really have a bit of banter with me and a bit of a chat, and you know find out about them and you find out what they're doing and their personal lives a little bit, and that's kind of nice. But because because the shops are a lot larger and there's a turnover of people, they never stop. They're never quiet enough normally to actually take the time with you. Whereas somewhere like Rimini's, it was because it was so small. Even if they were busy, there was still enough time for them to come and chat to you and kind of make the rounds almost like a restaurant owner would do. You've seen these like gangster films where the Italian restaurant owner would come around and check everyone's okay, and if they like basically play the host kind of thing. And that was kind of nice that you kind of felt like that was your little place. And I'm sure loads of people feel the same about this place and other places. That was my little escape. And even after I bought a coffee machine for my house, I used to still go there. My mum used to be like, "What, you've got a false economy? You've bought an expensive coffee machine and you still go to the bloody coffee shop." And I was like, "Well, yeah, why not? It's nice. It was nice to go there. Why wouldn't I?" In regard to thinking of it, in regard to like modern coffee shops and such things, um, it's all pre-packet sandwiches as well, isn't it? Like nothing's made fresh, whereas Rimini's made the fresh sandwiches. And again, that's very much like Ireland. You very rarely get anything that's pre-prepared in a fridge. It's you go into like a local one, they make them fresh, and I think that was a nice thing as well. Like you go into Costa, Starbucks, any of them, any chain, any shop, really modern day shop, everything's disposable, throwaway, prepackaged, and expensive as well. Like we were in Starbucks the other week, me and Sarah, and we bought coffee. I think we had a coffee each, and she likes like chai lattes and the frappes and stuff like that. They're a bit too sweet for me. I just like either a black coffee or a latte. So I think I had like a small latte. She had like a small drink as well. I might have had a medium, and I'm not sure. And then she wanted a toasty because I think her sugars were dropping. So I was like, "Oh, I'll buy you a toasty as well." Not the toasty, like, but it was like a small oval piece of bread, like two pieces of bread with a filling. It was like cheese and ham toasty, and it wasn't very large slices of bread, and it was like £6 for a toasty. I'm like, when you think about it, like the pieces of bread, even if you say 10p each, which is a stretch, a bit of cheese, what 30p for a bit of cheese, 30p max maybe for a bit of ham. And you're just thinking that sandwich could probably cost like 70 or 80p at the most to make, the most. Even with the packaging, like what is it, pence to put? It's probably like a penny to put the plastic wrap on. Like it's nothing, isn't it? When on an industrial level, and they're charging like £5. It was like £5.95, I think it was, or £6.20. It was something like that. So these two coffees and these two drinks and this sandwich, and I think I had one of them chocolate straw things, came to nearly £20. I was like, what the hell? I honestly couldn't believe it. I was shocked, and I sound like a really old man, but yeah, it used to be like kind of a treat still to go out for a coffee, but it didn't bankrupt you. And it's still a treat to go out for a coffee. I probably do it far too much, if I'm honest with you. I probably could save so much money. And I need to curb that a little bit. But yeah, it's expensive nowadays. It's expensive, and it's not the same experience for me. It's not at all. I need to find a new Café Nervosa. I think if I lived in Ireland, I would have like five of them, all in different places. I could probably think of five cafes in Northern Ireland now that I would probably visit on a regular basis that are all in different areas in Ireland, in Northern Ireland. So yeah, yeah. So that's my little story. It went a bit awry at one point. Well, all of it went awry actually. And I think there was a point that I was trying to get to, and I don't think I got to it. If I think of the point, if you think of the point, let me know. But if you ever had like a place that you've gone, it be a bar or somewhere that you just felt at home and it's been comfortable and you've enjoyed going there and it's been a place of musings, even. That's definitely what I used to do. Definitely used to what I used to do, and it was probably part of my well-being. To be honest, um, for a time in my life that was new, and just discovering things, living alone, being a bit lonely, trying to discover new relationships, growing as a person. It was very very deep, and it probably was if you think about it. If I think about it, yeah. So let me know if you've ever had somewhere that you call home, but it's a business establishment. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. If it's been your first time today, um, thank you for listening. Thank you, and I hope you continue to listen. My podcasts are never the same. They never. Some scroll around. Some kind of stick to the subject matter. Yeah. So go and check some more out. Before you decide. Check out some of my guest speaks. Where I have guests. Yes. Thank you very much for listening. Take care of yourselves, and until next time. Thanks for listening to Infinite Prattle with your host, Stephen. Follow me on social networks at Infinite Prattle, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks very much.